This is the continue of part 6, which is part 2 of part 6, which is Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4 challenge stuff. So we'll get started here. Tropical Forest is honestly pretty okay for a starter level. I think I'll put it at a very low A tier. Silver Lake's a very high A tier. I don't like Silver Lake, but it's really challenging. Thirsty Desert is honestly pretty okay. I'd say it's probably top of B tier. We got Twilight Hollow. I'm pretty sure it's okay as well. It's kind of difficult. I'm gonna put it right here. Shaded Garden is... it's alright. I'd say it's probably a top of B tier. Tropical Forest Remix. I'd say it's a little bit harder than Tropical Forest. Silver Lake Remix. I don't think is that difficult. So, but it is sort of difficult, so I'm gonna put it right here. I didn't have all the time in the world to do this, so I only replayed some of the levels. Twilight Hollow Remix. I'm pretty sure it's not that hard, but I think I'll put it at the top of B tier. Thirsty Desert Remix is, I'd say, probably low A tier. Shaded Garden Remix is probably a low A tier. Tropical Wilds Remix is probably hard. It's probably a little hard. Oh no. Oh no. Garden of Hope Remix is a little difficult, I think. I don't exactly remember most of these levels, honestly, because I haven't played Pikmin 3 in a minute. Because once Pikmin 3's done, Pikmin 3 kind of is too easy for me, so I don't really replay it a lot. I specifically remember Formidable Oak Remix is being utter difficult because it doesn't have any onions. Fortress of Festivity, I have to put in S tier because it's Christmas themed and it's also actually kind of difficult. The Rust Yard, I'm pretty sure, is pretty difficult. Beastly Caverns, I'm pretty sure, is pretty difficult. Forgotten Cove, I'm pretty sure, is pretty difficult. And Clockwork Chasm is definitely very difficult because Pikmin can fall off the stage and die, and it's kind of annoying. I also put the side modes and stuff in here. Like the Olimar side modes, but we'll get to that in a minute. I put the boss missions from Pikmin 3 in here for funsies, sorta, because it's kind of just like the regular boss, except you have a specific set amount of Pikmin, which makes it slightly easier or harder. Honestly, Armored Maudad's pretty easy on its own. Behemoth Phosphat is probably a low B tier. Sand Belching Mere Slugs, honestly kind of the same. Probably a high C tier. Scornet Maestro is the easy boss by itself, so I'd say low C tier. The Quaggled Myreclops always manages to beat my butt every time I fight him, so I'm gonna put him at top of 8. Well, near the top of A tier. The Plasm Wraith, honestly, fighting him with all 5 types is honestly difficult by itself. It's better to just do it with rocks. But you don't have that option here, so I'm gonna just put it near the top of A tier. Honestly, the Olimar missions aren't very difficult, honestly, because you're usually going to be playing these after the game's already completed. I don't think Flower Garden's pretty difficult, so I'm going to put it in the middle of C tier. Inside Forest isn't really difficult either, so I'm going to put it in C tier. The river is also not that challenging. The tundra is probably the hardest, but it's still not that challenging. Okay, now we go to Olimar's Combat. Pikmin Reunion isn't very difficult either. I'd say it's probably right here. The Creature Hunt, the second day of Olimar's Combat, isn't that difficult either. I'd say it's probably a C tier. The third day, also I don't think is that difficult, but it's still a little challenging. The fourth day is kind of difficult, but it's really just tedious. The Monster Hunt, I don't think it's very difficult on its own, because you get rock Pikmin and wing Pikmin and stuff, which makes it kind of easy. But I'll at least put it in B tier. Channel Gone Dry. Honestly, in these Olimar comeback missions, you get way too much time. That's why it's so easy. Looking for Louie. Honestly, there's a glitch called Infinite Bombs glitch that you can do with the pile of the dirt mounds with the bomb rocks. which makes this mission way too easy. But we're gonna pretend that doesn't exist, and we're just gonna put it probably at the bottom of B tier. Big Fruit Carnival. Same thing here with the wing Pikmin cheesing. You can cheese some of the level with wing Pikmin. So it's not that hard, but it's still at least sort of difficult. The ninth day is kind of just there. It's kind of difficult, but not really that difficult. And the final one's definitely the hardest, I'd say. To not lose Pikmin, but in these challenges you don't really have to lose Pikmin. Next, we're on to the Pikmin 4 challenges, which I don't think I have them in the correct order, but it's whatever. We got Trial Run, the Trial Run, the first Dandori mission you do, or Dandori challenge you do, and it honestly serves as a good warm-up, but honestly is a little too easy. Hot Shot Canyon, then again, it's kind of easy, but it's a little bit more difficult. Test Tubs is the first water level. I think it has a Peckish Aristocrab, but Peckish Aristocrabs are nerfed heavily in Pikmin 4, so it isn't that big of a deal because OG exists. We got Rockaway Cellars, pretty sure, as the next one. I don't think it's that difficult either, so I think it's about a B tier. Planning Pools, I think, is just a harder version of Test Tubs. Ice Cross Course, I always somehow manage to finish this one with less than 1 minute remaining. So I'd say it's probably a top of B tier. We're not supposed to get to that one yet. Hefty Hallway. Get it? Anyways, this one prioritizes purple Pikmin and stuff to carry the heavy stuff. It's kind of difficult, I'd say. Now we're actually getting into the actual difficult stages in Pikmin 4. I'd say Aerial Incinerator is probably a top of A tier. I mean, at the bottom of A tier. Strategic Freezeway. I think you have to build a bridge to make stuff easier. But all in all, I think it's about at the bottom of A tier. Toggle Training's honestly really tedious rather than difficult, because the whole gimmick of this level is the buttons. So I'd say it's probably, and just because of the buttons, it's probably a little bit, it's probably near the bottom of A tier. Cliffhanger's Hold definitely gave me some trouble the first time I played through this game, so I'd say it's probably near the top of A tier. Oasis of Order is probably near the top of A tier as well. Okay, now we got the Trial of the Sage Leaf challenges. The first story is honestly not that difficult, but it's always the beginning ones that are a little bit more difficult because you don't play them as often, because the more difficult ones you play them more often, and that's why you're better at them. I always hated the second story because the snowball guys, they're very annoying. The third story isn't honestly all that difficult. but it's kind of difficult. The fourth story just really, like, all these challenges made redundant if you get the plucking whistle. But we're just gonna pretend we don't have that. Dandori Seas is, I'd say, probably A tier. So White Keys probably at the bottom of S tier because one's the most difficult one, honestly, or one of the most difficult ones. Gimmick Gambit can be cheesed very heavily with Ochi Rush, but I'm not that skilled at the game. So I'd say it's probably up there with the first story. I don't have to tell you why One Fell Jump is a F tier. It's very poor level design. Crowded Kitchens, honestly, at the bottom of S tier because you get very little time with very little Pikmin, so you kind of have to go really fast. Turf Turmoil is just basically a boss rush stage. And then the Purple Key is probably the second hardest. We're done with this episode for now. I think the next part will be the last.